Hello and welcome. It is WWDC day, guys. Get hype. It is time. Let's talk about it. Hopefully we're going to have a few people here in the stream. This is normally one of the better live streams that we do during the year. So we're going to wait and just get some more people into the chat, see who's around, see who's going to be here, and that will all be good. Fingers crossed this is actually working properly. We will see. So, anyone want to come and play? Standard. As soon as I click away from here, I'm sure it will start to pick up. But I did start 30 seconds early. That was cheeky of me. Hello, Michael Moy. Audio is a bit low, is it? Okay, let's turn it up. We can deal with that. Hopefully that's a little bit better for you. Yeah, that's better for me as well. Is that decent? Let me know it down in the chat. How we doing? Michael Moy, Marcin Kowalczyk, and Evan Rogers in the house. How are we? I'm feeling good. I've been to see the doctors this morning. All good, all positive. So yes, very good. Thank you for asking. Hello, Terry Clare. How we doing? That's better. Cool. So audio is good. Who is hyped for Dub today? I've just heard from some people down in Cupertino that is on site. He's over in California, which is good. Good to know. Ed Brown, how you doing, mate? Thank you very much for being here, buddy. I've actually got your cinema display is down in the corner of the room right now. Evan Rogers with a super chat already. Let's get started. So, biggest wish announcement. I mean, it's got to be stuff around like AI, obviously. AI and everything, says Steve from Geeks Corner. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think what we've been hearing about with AI is really what's going to be happening. I think Siri shortcuts would be a really good place for AI to come in, so you can kind of just ask Siri to create the shortcuts for you, because I think Siri shortcuts is like super powerful and not really done much for normal consumers. Definitely power users have been in there, and obviously we had on Aluminium Podcast, which yes, it is on hiatus right now. It will be coming back, so don't worry about that. But we did have one of our guests who is massive, and I'm blanking on names right now, but massive on the shortcut stuff, and so there's so much power to be had there, and I think shortcuts is a really good place for Apple to do some stuff with AI. But also beyond that, I think we are going to get things like the image editing to a basic degree with AI. I think we're going to get sort of smart removal of stuff, just like you can do in Photoshop and on a lot of other software now, and on the Google devices. I think that's going to be certainly something that's coming to it. I think what else could we be looking at? I mean, I don't really know. Chatbot is the one thing that's unlikely outside of Siri, I think, but we'll see what happens. Oh, Marcin Kowalczyk with a super chat as well. Thank you so much, my friend. Mark Games, hello, how are you? Yeah, it's just going to be a really good day. But yeah, we've got Woz on site in California. We've got Resident Evil over on X has just posted that Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is joining the Apple family on July the 2nd, coming to the iPhone 15 Pro models and every iPad or Mac with an M1 chip or later. So that's pretty awesome. Resident Evil 2 is also in development for iPhone, iPad, and Mac. So some more gaming news. We had loads of gaming announcements last year at WWDC. We had the Game Developers Toolkit coming up. We had a bunch of other stuff. And I don't think we've seen most of the kind of fruit of that yet. I would say that it's still been very much like, if you want to be a gamer, you're still going to go with Windows. But then game development takes a long time. So I don't think we need to worry too much that we haven't got to the point of all of these games appearing yet. We've got 18 people watching now, which is not too bad for one of our live streams, but I have a feeling immediately after the event we'll have a much bigger one. I know a couple of years ago we had about 350 people in, which is pretty good. We'll see if we get to those kind of heights again. The channel has been a lot quieter than it was back then, but let's see what we get. I wonder if there will be more on the game toolkit during this WWDC. I'm almost certain that it's going to get a mention. I don't think there's too much chance, especially with this Resident Evil news. I've got a feeling maybe even this Resident Evil thing is going to be mentioned during the keynote. However, I feel like maybe the tweet went out too early, because it doesn't seem like the kind of thing that they would want to come out before the event. But, you know, by the by, it doesn't matter too much. I do think, yeah, the Apple Intelligence thing is going to be really interesting. Whoever else is watching, by the way, do say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. But yeah, I think from what I've been hearing, there is a massive buzz around Apple Park today, like more than there is normally at WWDC. And I don't know if that's more because we've kind of got this idea that we're getting the AI stuff coming in, or if it's that there's just generally going to be more developers there. You know, we're sort of past now people worrying so much about COVID and things like that. So that's all a bonus that we're getting way more back to normal. I think there is a bit more in-person stuff going on this year at WWDC. It seems like it's very much going to be software-based this year as opposed to what we've had in the past, where we've had bits of hardware coming. Last year we had the 15-inch MacBook Airs were debuted there. What else did we have? There was a bunch of stuff actually last year at WW. We had the Studio with M2 Max and M2 Ultra. We had the new Mac Pro with Apple Silicon. I don't think we're going to see any more from those things at this event. It does sound like, from what Mark Gurman's been saying, that there's going to be no hardware this year at WWDC, which is good and bad. I guess it means they've got more time to talk about software. Very interested to see if there is any sort of overhaul to Vision OS. We've been hearing that it's much more of a kind of mild update, you know, with fixes and things like that. But I have a feeling that after a year's worth, after about 6 months worth of Vision Pro out in the wild, we are going to have a little bit more of a clue of what Apple is expecting it to be in the end. So let's have a quick look at what we've got down here. So Steve from Geeks Corner is saying, I'm hoping improvements to iMessage, such as AI and composing of texts. Yeah, one of the things that I'd sort of suggested is that things like Grammarly and Notion might end up getting Sherlocked here, so we get much better notes, notes-based apps, you know, organization, that kind of thing, and also Grammarly with being able to rephrase text when you give a prompt, you know, rephrasing it to be more professional or to be more casual or that kind of thing. Yeah, so I think that's an interesting one. Then what else have we got? So I just want iOS icons to match macOS. Like, I don't get why iOS 7 to 17 is the same flat icons. Feels outdated now. That's fair. I think we could see a mild update of all of the icons, because we're also hearing now that the icons may change when you go from light mode to dark mode, which may also be built into whatever this system is that Apple has been talking about for, well, Apple's not been talking about, but people have been talking about recoloring your app icons. So I have a feeling that maybe there isn't even a recoloring your app icons, it's just that they will change with light mode and dark mode. That's a possibility. Martin Kavalchek is saying, I wonder if there'll be more. Yeah, we've already talked about that bit. And where people are from. So Pedro from Portugal, Long Beach in California for Unsupervised. Hello. I haven't said hi to you yet, but hello. Hoping that we won't get, the AI won't get switched to opt out from opt-in in a future update. No, I think they're going to keep it as opt-in. Certainly while it's in beta. Maybe it won't be later on down the line, but I think it might well be when you set up your device, it'll be a switch it on or off, just like it is for Siri and Face ID and all that kind of stuff. That would be my guess. It'll be part of your setup process in future. Martin's saying, oh, Evan Rogers, another super chat. Thank you very much. What do I not want to see today? I don't want to see Android get referenced too much. I don't want Android and Windows comparisons, which I don't think we'll get because they normally do that when we're talking about hardware and chip speeds and that kind of thing, rather than with software. Apple kind of ignores the fact that other software exists. What I think I would be annoyed if we see any of the AI features being subscription-based, because I think what Apple is most likely to do is kind of use the AI features to drive new product sales and hopefully not charge you individually for like the subscriptions to them. I think that would be a bad look, and I think that would cause a lot of issues if they did, in terms of like bad press and backlash. I'd rather not see iOS go all towards eye candy and no reliability fixes. I do think this first set of betas, which I will be installing so you don't have to, is likely to be quite buggy, especially with the AI features. However, because I've got an iPhone 14 Pro, I don't think I'm going to be getting many of those AI features anyway, because it does look like they're going to be locked to the 15 Pros and the 15 Pro Maxes. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some of it that we can use, but I think the top-end features will be locked to the latest iPhones at the moment. And I'm sure there will be even more that's being held back for the 16s, which come this autumn. Steve is saying, I wonder if they'll also give RCS a small mention just to keep the EU happy. Almost certainly that will be mentioned, whether it's mentioned as in the initial release or coming later this year. I'm not 100% sure, because that might be something that they really need to roll out to the entire range at the same time, as opposed to being something that they can put into beta. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that would be an interesting one, definitely. Mark Gaines, I want to be able to clear app cache rather than having to uninstall an app. I thought you could do that. I'm sure there is a way that you can do it, but I'm not 100% sure what it is. So yeah, you might be right. Still rocking a 13 Pro here, says Marcin. Fair enough. And is this the event where Apple makes a Big Mac gaming push? Are we talking like McDonald's gaming, or are we talking about a Big Mac gaming push? Because you capitalized Big Mac. I don't know, Evan. are we talking food? Because I'm down for food. Anyone, by the way, that is not subscribed yet, please do that. Anyone that has not hit the like button, I would be very pleased if you would do that as well. Steve's saying, yeah, probably a change coming later this year. I'm guessing we mean RCS, so that makes sense. You can't just force quit the app to reset the cache, though. Oh, okay. Fair enough. I very rarely have issues with apps where I can't do that. The one app that I've had massive problems with is I actually wanted to play Star Trek Fleet Command, because I keep seeing it in ads on Instagram. And I do like Star Trek. I was always a Star Trek fan when I was a kid. And I wanted to play the app, but I obviously played it at some point, and I got to the point where I'd used up the free credit bits that you get at the beginning to get through the tutorial. And now it won't let me get through the tutorial that it's put me back into, because the credits aren't there, and it won't let you pass that. So yeah, that one's out for me. Even when I've reinstalled it and logged in with different credentials, it won't work. So rubbish. Giant Man Tech, which is a confusing name, but I'll take it, says there was a rumor regarding reminders and calendars. I was confused. Are the apps becoming one? There has been suggestions that they might, or that they would at least work better together, so when you set a reminder, it will also appear in your calendar. That would kind of make sense, because reminders on its own is a very strange little app that doesn't appear to do very much. I've always struggled to actually get the reminders to pop up when they're supposed to. It's always been a bit of a rubbish app for me, but I could be wrong. Has anyone else used it successfully in the chat? Do let me know. But yeah, what is everyone's biggest hope for this event? What are we really hoping to see? Because for me, I'm going to be installing the new macOS beta. That's going to be going on to Project 91, which is the Macintosh Classic with the M1 Mac Mini inside of it. I'm going to be installing iOS 18 onto my iPhone 14 Pro. And then I'll be obviously keeping my my work phone. I don't think I'm allowed to install betas on that. It's not my device. So that one will be staying on the current stable software. So I've got an option if I need to use another camera, that kind of thing. But right now, as usual, we are using the iPhone 14 Pro as the main camera for this, using continuity camera, which is exciting. Still think continuity camera is just basically witchcraft at this point. But yes, we're also doing, if anyone is interested, the merch store that we have. So I have the Cupertino t-shirts, things like this, iCaveDave.com/merch. We're doing 15% off for WWDC. So if you want to pick anything up, because obviously there's, as we've heard, no hardware coming. If you are itching to spend some money, you are welcome to spend it with me. Promo code is WW24 if you want to do any of that. iCaveDave.com/merch. I should have thought ahead of time and put this as a thing that I can put up on the screen, shouldn't I? But I didn't, because that's just the kind of guy I am. But you can also, of course, follow me on all the social media things, which I never talk about when I'm on the show. I used to quite a lot. So we're over on Twitter, which I refuse still to call X, at iCave_Dave. Same on Instagram, and also on TikTok, which I don't do a great deal of, but there's bits of TikTok stuff going on. But you can join us on any of those, and I spent a little while setting up all these screens, so I'm just going to make sure that I use them all. That's all I'm going to do. You missed a 24% sale since it's 2024, but I'll take 15%. Well, no, I'm not doing 24%, because then I will actually literally make nothing out of the t-shirts that are on there. The stuff that's on there, I make very little on them, to be honest, anyway, but it's just a fun thing that we did. The WWDC one with the Mimojis that I very much wanted to do, we got one Mimoji submitted, so it would have been a weird-looking t-shirt with just someone else's Mimoji on it. So, yeah, if you want a t-shirt like that next year, you've actually got to send me stuff so that I can put it on there. But that's how it works. Evan Rogers says, Dave, you sticking around at the top of the hour or coming back after? So, yeah, the plan for today, I should probably have run through this. Yeah, we're gonna stream up until WWDC keynote starts, which is at 6 p.m. here, 10 a.m. in Cupertino. And then this stream will finish. There will be a new stream. Thank you for mentioning that. I will grab the link for you now. Yes, we will be streaming afterwards, and I've basically scheduled it for 2 hours time, or for 2 hours from the beginning of the event, because it's normally just over 2 hours for WW. It tends to be. So that's the stream start time, but we will basically come back as soon as the stream is over from Apple. And that's when we'll start streaming again, and it will be very much let's talk about what's just happened, because that's always the exciting stuff. And then I am going to be making a bunch of content as well, because there is so much stuff that we're going to be talking about. The other stream does have a preview up already, so it's ready to go, and I will grab you guys the link now and pop it in the chat so you can set your reminders. So that's the post stream that's just gone into the chat now. If only I could actually get to it. Giant Man Tech is saying, I hope Mark is wrong and we get the M4 Ultra today. I don't believe we will, if I'm completely honest. I would love it as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm always here for new Macs. That is very much all I'm about. I definitely want new Macs. Definitely want new toys to play with, new toys to talk about, because let's be honest, I'm not buying an M4 Ultra Mac Studio or anything like that, because A, I don't have the budget for it, and B, I am very much entirely happy with the MacBook Air that I use as my daily driver. MacBook Air with M2 is more than I need for everything else. Unsupervised says, got to run, but we'll check back later. Don't stay up too late. I will try not to, but yeah, we're going to be making a lot of content today, so I might be burning the midnight oil a little bit. But thank you for coming. Mark Games says, the first 10 minutes of the event is normally just waffle about how Apple Watch saved my life. I love the Vision Pro, some upcoming Apple TV series sneak peeks. Yes, but the Apple TV stuff is normally really good. I like Apple TV. I don't think there's a bad show on Apple TV. If there is a bad show on there, do let me know down in the comments. But so far, everything I've watched on there has been banger after banger after banger, and I'm still working my way through For All Mankind, because Real Space keeps happening and getting in the way. Evan Rogers is saying, I hope Craig explicitly states that macOS is never coming to the iPad. They've kind of done that in the past. They've basically said, no, we're not. I don't imagine that that's going to happen. I don't imagine that it's going to happen. One thing that I do think might happen, and I've mentioned this in some of the videos before, one thing I do think they might do is actually allow you to run Mac apps, individually Mac apps on the iPad, just like you can run iPad apps on the Mac and iPhone apps on the Mac. Now that we've got M-chip-based iPads, I don't see why you couldn't. There are frameworks that are missing from iPadOS that the macOS has, but I think there may well be easy ways for a developer to kind of wrap an Xcode project and kind of build in those frameworks if they're not available in iPadOS as it is. That might make sense. So that's what I'm hoping, like a kind of reverse catalyst, if that makes sense. So it adds on things like maybe some of the touch targets are enlarged just automatically, things like that. I think there's definitely a potential for that to happen, but that would be good. Michael Moy, M1 Max Studio has more CPU/GPU than I need. I got it for the RAM and monitor support. Yeah, so this is the thing. I think anyone that's got an M series Mac at this point does not need to upgrade unless your workflow has changed dramatically. And I mean dramatically from when you got like a base M1 and all of a sudden you're doing like 4K video work on the daily. There's probably no need to upgrade. And that's a good thing. I don't want people to think that I'm saying Apple Silicon hasn't improved, because it has massively improved. It's just that it was a huge leap up from what we had before in the first place. So, yeah, Mark Games saying what Apple needs to do is make the iPad Pro OS just for the Pro iPads and run its Mac apps. No, I don't think it needs a separate OS. I don't agree on that. I don't think it should be different. Just like a MacBook Air does not run a different operating system to a MacBook Pro or a Mac Pro. It should be the same operating system. If you've got an M chip in there, then sure, let it run those things. I've just heard that Sam Altman is on site in Cupertino as well from OpenAI. So that is another clue that we are definitely getting our AI stuff as expected. Not that there's really any doubt at this point, but Sam Altman is there, is there. This is going to be a big day. I don't think Sam is likely to. Do we even know if this is just going to be a pure video, or is it going to be actually on stage stuff this year? I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be all pre-recorded, just with Tim and maybe Craig, Air Force One, doing a quick. Oh, hello there. Hello there, Sigmund. Sigmund is on the ground over there. Predictibob, macOS Paducah. Have a great day, everyone. Paducah. Is that a place in California? Is it even still going to be a California place? What does everyone think macOS is going to be called? That's a really good question for the chat. Let us know your predictions for the name down in the chat. Mammoth was up there for years, and nobody seems to have mentioned it this year. I'd like Mammoth. But I think Sequoia is probably more likely. But let me know your thoughts in the chat. Yeah, I don't think we should have a separate iPadOS Pro. That doesn't make sense to me, but I understand why people want it. Could we get a DeX-like mode? Plug in the Magic Keyboard and you get a desktop experience. Well, we've kind of already got that with Stage Manager and stuff when you've got an external display. But I just don't think it's better. Stage Manager gives you multiple windows, but not in a very good way. But the iPad isn't really big enough to have the full-on desktop experience. And if you make things tiny on the screen, then it hurts your eyes. There's just so many reasons that it's not a great experience. Evan Rogers, Dave, I broke my iPad Pro 2020 in the gym last week. Should I just get the display fixed? I think 2020, would that be... So that's an A12Z? I would say probably not. I would say that getting the display repaired is probably going to cost nearly as much as picking up like an M2 iPad Pro. So I would probably do that. Get a used 2022 or whatever it was. 2023 iPad Pro. Yeah, that's what I'd probably do, is get the M2 version. Depends, is it a 13-inch or an 11-inch? Let me know. Master Chat, my baseline M1 mini SSD is dying. Random capacity each boot. Oh, that's crazy. I think because I use too much swap. So that's a caution for the baseline RAM, and storage is not always a good option. That's fair enough, but I mean, we were also, what are we, 4 years through now? I think a lot of people are probably going to be moving on. But yeah, if you're hammering that thing, yeah, I guess that might be an issue for people. Today it shows 9 gigabytes free. Yesterday was 11. 2 days ago was 8. No files were added or removed. I mean, that could just be the swap being used at the time. Have you run the disk checks to see if it is actually failing, or if it's just using swap? Just a thought. Or, you know, downloading updates in the background. That's the other option. Joshua Tree. macOS Joshua Tree. Okay, yeah, I think, yeah, people have said that. People have heard that one before. Any predictions on Craig's meme this year? Oh, it's so hard, but we definitely need a new Craig meme. We had the opening a MacBook one. We had the running up that road. And then, what was the last year's one? Oh, it was the electric guitar, wasn't it? The 3-necked electric guitar. Redwood, macOS Redwood is not too bad. I like that. Redwood or Sequoia would be good, but I kind of hope the cats could make a comeback. I don't think it'd be big cats again. I like the idea. Rob Lincoln, whoop, just here until my trainees show up. Yes, because you said you got a class on today. Cool. Glad you could make it, even if it's just for a little bit. I'm really fiddling with this headphone cable today. Sorry, I'm like, I don't know if it's just nervous energy or my crazy meds. Who knows? Right, let's see. 11-inch iPad Pro and already have a Magic Keyboard. The M4 being incompatible with the old keyboard is keeping me from making the leap. Ah, yeah, so that is a difficult one. And also, Pencil is different. But also, the M1 iPad Pro didn't have the nicer display either. So, it would probably be a nice jump to get up to the OLED. I would pop into an Apple store, see what the OLED looks like. If you fall in love with the display, grab one. If you don't, then yeah, maybe get an M2 version. That might do the job for you, because I'm guessing you could probably resell the keyboard. I've actually got a Magic Keyboard, not knockoff, but like a third-party version that I'm going to be reviewing next week, which is this one, which is purple as well, which I quite like, and it's got backlight, which I'm quite enjoying, and it's got all the other stuff that you would expect. It's just that it's Bluetooth based, so it's a lot cheaper as well. But yeah, that's pretty nice, and that'll be popping up on the channel next week. So what else have we got here? So 15 terabytes of write on the that Mac Mini. Oh, that's crikey. Yeah, that's quite a lot. So that's the whole drive has been written like 60 times. That shouldn't be getting anywhere close yet to having an issue there. You should be fine. Redwood and Sequoia are both good names. Yeah, I agree. Like those. Yeah, nothing wrong with those names. I have no idea how many people are actually watching the stream. I've just realised I've not been paying attention. 30. Ah, fine. Cool. That's enough people to have a decent party. Mark Games is saying, why do you hope that I'm wrong? What was that about? Oh, is that about the name? Okay, cool. James Apple's here. What's going on, Dave? James, I've got your headphones right here. James has sent me a set of these beautiful AirPod Maxi pads, which are good. So we're gonna be playing with those in a video as well. Thank you very much for those, James. Appreciate you. Yeah, I haven't got round to opening them up yet to actually video it, but I've got a bit of time the next couple of days, so hopefully I'll be doing that pretty soon. But I might not publish it immediately, just because Dub is going to be taking up a lot of that time right now. Craig meme, wide-eyed and mind blown over the M4 Ultra. Well, yeah, we can only hope, can't we? Slow Cuba is here with a super chat as well. Thank you very much. But don't try and make me drink tea, my friend. What are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Mark Games has the M2 iPad Pro, the 13. The bleeding is bad. Oh, you mean like the blooming in the background? Okay. Mark Games, trying my best not to get the new iPad Pro as I'm trying to limit my Apple shopping to just the new iPhone. I'm also getting the new iPhone this year. Still not quite decided if I'm going Pro or Pro Max. What do you guys think in the chat? Should I go for the bigger one? I think it's going to depend on if there's extra stuff going on. If it's got different cameras, because cameras are kind of important to me, because as I say, we use the iPhone for every video. We're not going big cameras. I'm not doing it. I refuse. Just to let you know as well today, there are going to be kids running around. This is a little bit earlier in the evening for us, and my wife's going to be out. She's got stuff going on, so she's going to be out probably for the beginning of the post-event live stream. So yeah, just be aware of that one. Cool. What else have we got down here? Hope Sim surprises with AirPods Max 2 and some AI audio features. I think AI audio features is a good shout. AirPods Max 2 is sadly sounding like it's going to be a very disappointing update even when it arrives, which is going to be, one of those. It's going to be a little bit, it's got a different shape hole in it now. Exciting. And to be honest, unless they're going to let us do lossless over the cable, which maybe there is enough data transfer over that compared to Lightning that we can do it. It's coming on basic Beats now where you can get lossless. That would be nice, but I'm not 100% convinced that that's going to happen, sadly. So hey Cuba, yeah, thank you very much, Evan, for that. Rob Lincoln, macOS name Shinamarinkadinkadu. Okay. Skibbity toilet. Let's see what else we've got. The rumor on the Max 2 is they were getting a price drop. I would be surprised if it did. I mean, I would be okay if they just gave it a price drop and the new hole shape. Like, I don't mind USB-C. It also doesn't make it better for me. Like, I don't know why. I'm excited to try out like the lossless video recording, like the ProRes stuff and the log and all that sort of stuff. But then I've got to buy hard drives to do it onto. And right now, I just literally wirelessly connect to my MacBook and record direct onto my Mac. So that's great. If it'll let me do that with a USB cable, that'd be nice. Pro Max, once you go Pro Max, you can never go back. Well, I have in the past, you see, James, and so I have gone back. Pro Max, that was the first iPhone that we used as a camera on the channel, and then I went down to a Pro for the 14 Pro, and I kind of like the size of it. So it's tricky, and I'm hopefully going to be getting an iPad mini, so I'm going to have my big screen there, bigger screen, perfect size screen. iPad mini still the perfect device, I have to say. You can challenge me in the comments if you wish. Get the Pro, is it still getting bigger at 6.3 inches instead of 6.1? Yeah, will the device be bigger? Or is it just the display and smaller bezels? I mean, either way is nice because, more screen is more betterer. But I also don't want something that won't fit in my pocket. Phil Gilligan's here. How you doing, my friend? Phil Gilligan, probably the person that interacts with me most on Instagram, I would say. So I'm just going to quickly go back again to my little social media thing, so you can all go and follow me on socials if you haven't already. And anyone that's not subscribed on YouTube, how have you found this live stream? Because I don't really shout about it that very much. But also, yeah, just subscribe, because I was putting the numbers on the screen and I liked it. So yeah, let's unpin that one. And yes, we will be live streaming immediately after the event, so straight back on this channel. I've set it, as I say, for 2 hours from the start of the event, 'cause it's normally about 2 hours, but we will basically start actually streaming once the event finishes, regardless if that's earlier or later, but I might be scrambling to put my headphones on, that kind of stuff. But yeah, and I will be taking notes, so we will try and actually do some stuff. Last year's WWDC for me was very stressful, because it was when I was doing some writing over at Supercharge, so I had like 3 or 4 articles that I was kind of in charge of. So as the information was coming out during DubDub, we kind of wrote down what we expected, and then filled in the gaps and corrected stuff live so that we could get the articles out really quickly. And that's why I was not here streaming before and after for that one. But, yeah, I'm not there anymore. So, you got me back. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, let's have a look. What else have we got? I forgot the 14 Pro. Does the 14 Pro have USB-C? No, it does not. It is still Lightning, which is absolutely fine for me because I typically charge it over MagSafe anyway, and I airdrop stuff, so it doesn't actually matter. I upgrade every year. I love it. So, yes, not much changes, but that new phone feeling and having the best cameras possible is 100% for live moments. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a huge amount of change year on year, but when I do it every 2 years, that feels okay. I might try and go to annually soon so that I can do the review stuff, which will be good. Yeah. So what else have we got here? Display is supposed to be 6.9 inches, I heard. That's on the Pro Max. Yes, that's what we've heard. The titanium materials make it lightweight more than the stainless steel counterparts for the 15 Pro Max. Yeah, I mean, weight was never the issue for me. It was like physically fitting it in my pocket, which was a little bit of a tight squeeze before. But yeah, and my work phone is a 12 like base model, so having the match is quite nice. I'm just going to turn off center stage because it's annoying me, and I'm assuming it's annoying you guys. But I just didn't really seem like I was in the middle before. There we go. That's better. Right. Splurged this year to upgrade from my 11 Pro to my 15 Pro. Did not regret it, says Slowq, but fair enough. Yeah, it's always nice to have a new one. Absolutely. Phil Gilligan, Mark Game's not on a 14 Pro. Yeah, okay, you're just confirming on the USB-C stuff. Will I do/check the bingo board after the event? Yeah, so we did that little prediction one in the first video I did back when I came back. Apple Store is down. Oh, that's interesting. That normally means they're going to change some products. Or they're going to change what is available where. So, my prediction for this might be that it's just orders going live for Vision Pro internationally. That's a possibility. But yeah, maybe price changes. That's true. Maybe accessories. Maybe something else. I'm interested to see if the Apple Pencil... the new Apple Pencil Pro, for example, may become like a remote for Vision Pro, because that is definitely something that you could do with the new barrel roll, like a magic wand kind of thing, where you can twist it in the air and all that sort of stuff. That would work well. It's got accelerometers in it, which is what's used for the double tap features, where you switch your tools. So, there's a possibility. And you can now squeeze it as well to click. So, maybe that's a possible. Another super chat. Thank you very much, David Black. 10 Canadian dollars. Greetings from British Columbia, Canada. Thanks for the typically wise and genial WWDC pre-show. Cool new features apart, I'm hoping Apple will model a new, more humane path for living with AI. Yeah, I agree. And this is that your first super chat? Is that what the one on there means? Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Super pleased. Thank you very much. Vision Pro going to the overseas market makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, I thought it was going to be at the last one. Joe Mantec is saying Apple Store down, M4 Ultra confirmed. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, I would love to see some M4 Max coming out. I don't think they'd need to spend too much time on it. They've already talked about the chip, so, it would be great. I just don't think it's happening. I would also love to see the other iPads get an update. So I want to see my iPad mini. I want to see the base iPad. I'd like them both to go up to 128 storage. Don't know if they will. I think the iPad mini definitely should, but maybe not the base one. I can see that being a break point for them, but I also think those are probably going to come in September. They might then do the iPad mini with the current iPhone chip, which would be really good. So that would be an A18 in it, which is basically what they did last time, right? It was the current iPhone chip that they put in, I think. Could be wrong. Probably not. We'll see. I think it's an A15 in there right now, and it came out with the 13s, right? iPad getting a calculator app turns out to be just an abacus. Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, you've got enough room, haven't you? So that would work. But yeah, I like that Evan is saying, I hope they launch the full M4 Mac lineup just to stop people listening to Gurman. Maybe we'll get tandem OLED Pro Display XDR. I think we would have heard about that if it was coming. Like, that's a massive display size. There is no way that Ross Displayman would not have heard about that. Tandem OLED would be super cool. I could definitely see that happen. iPad mini in the UK is too expensive, needs to be cheaper or the same-ish price as the iPad 10. It will never be cheaper than the iPad 10. I think it's $550 right now, right? It's like $549. It should be $500, so it should be $499. That's always where it was. In fact, no, when the iPad mini was first released, it was $399. The regular iPad was $499. I know this because I have 2 first-generation iPad minis, one of which I've had from new. And yeah, they kind of switched it around because the iPad became this base model with the older chips and stuff. But previously, the iPad, I guess, which has become the iPad Air in that kind of mid-ground. Yeah, that was that one. So, yeah. New dialing app for the iPhone goes rotary dial. I mean, it'd be good fun, wouldn't it? Give us an option. Why not? It'll keep, as long as you put the letters on it as well. So you've got T9 dialing. Linus will be happy because that's his biggest bugbear in the world about everything, is that you can't do T9 dialing, which is, a massive issue, I think, for everyone. If they don't announce new hardware, but that doesn't mean they will announce Vision Pro. Do you think if they don't announce new hardware, but doesn't that mean they will announce Vision Pro being overseas? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's the main thing that they're going to do, but, there could be something else. Yeah, maybe it's like, maybe there's a new version of the AirTag. Maybe there's some AirPods getting updated that we hadn't heard about, but those are going to be in huge mass production before they happen, so I don't know. Are we going to get Xcode on the iPad, maybe? M series iPads, maybe we're going to get Xcode in the cloud on a subscription, but it's a free app at the minute, so that would be weird. We're definitely going to get like auto coding and stuff, aren't we? Maybe Swift gets its own app that's not just Playgrounds, so you can just do like easier apps. Who knows? Let's see what else we've got. Pro Display XDR needs an upgrade, though. Don't expect it will until Thunderbolt 5 comes to the computers. Yeah, I agree, but does Pro Display XDR need to carry on? Is that... Yeah, how many are they actually selling? I can't imagine it's a lot. Like, I would like to see Apple do, like... If they're going to do displays, standalone displays, at least build in Apple TV functionality so that if it's not connected to a computer, which, let's be honest, it's going to be almost all the time, but you would have the option of just like switching it to Apple TV mode and using it as a lovely display. I've also said that I thought maybe they would do a spatial display, like a Pro Display 3D, which works with, I don't know, either lenticular lensing or like Apple's version of lenticular lenses, which gives you actual depth, or just like polarized glasses like you have for 3D movies that are in full color. That would be good. Not the active, because they're awful. But yeah, I think that would be good, just as another way to kind of help with developing 3D apps and spatial apps for the Pro Display, for the app Vision Pro. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Xcode Cloud already has a subscription attached to it last time I checked. Oh, yeah, I think they have got a cloud thing, but I think that's more for, like, project storage and, like, offloading really big projects for compiling, right? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a developer. I'm just making stuff up here when we're talking about developer stuff. But who else makes a display at 32 inches with a full metal chassis? I guess no one. But 32 inches on a 6K display, so it's like, it's a very specific panel. It doesn't have particularly good, like, darkness and brightness regions. Yeah, the backlight zones, dimming zones, local dimming zones, that's what they're called. For some reason, my brain is not doing well with words today. But yeah, it's got like 512, whereas you've got 2,500 on the iPad Pro and the MacBook Pro, I think. Something like that. So that's huge. And I think 512 over a display of that size is going to give you massive blooming. It's just not a great product as far as I can tell, but some people love it. I understand why. The studio display is absolutely great, ticks all the boxes for me, even though it's cheating in reality a giant iPad with a phone chip inside it. I mean, it's really an old iMac. It's an old 27-inch iMac display, right? With a slightly brighter backlight. It's like 100 nits brighter than it was. But yeah, I mean, it's a good display. It's just that it's only like $100 cheaper than an iMac used to be, and you used to get a whole computer in it. So, I don't know. It feels like that's a little bit high priced for what it is, but yeah. Will Apple announce sales figures for the Apple Vision Pro? I think they might give us a rough idea, but I think it already exceeded what they expected to sell, even though everyone was saying what a failure it was. So whether they'll be very specific or not, I do not know. Rob Lincoln, dang, was nervously chewing my nails and just broke a tooth. Serves me right. Oh, no. How? When you say chewing your nails, were these, like, for putting up shelves or something? Like, how hard are your nails? James Apple, yes, the tech in the Pro Display XDR has already trickled down to the iPad Pro and the iPhone 14 Pro lineup, and later feel like the Pro Display XDR would be OLED instead of mini LED. I mean, yeah, OLED is going to be good for that, but getting OLEDs of that size and the quality that Apple would demand, almost impossible. OLED TVs and OLED phones, very different technology in each, which is why the iPad, getting panels big enough for the iPad has been an absolute nightmare. If you notice, like, iPhones don't really get burn-in on the OLEDs, whereas OLED TVs, horrible for burn-in. It's a different technology. It's a different style of OLED. The fact that they're both called OLED is confusing, but the iPad is essentially a blown-up version of the phone style of OLED, and they've dual-layered it so that each OLED panel doesn't have to go as bright, which also helps to reduce the burn-in. Trying to get that up to 32 inches without flaws in the displays is going to be a massive issue, and that's not going to happen quickly, I don't think, but I would love to be proven wrong. So, icon redesign. Oh, just give us the Pro Display XDR to Apple. Icon redesign. Are you Icon from YouTube? From Twitter that I watch? I'm not 100% sure. Let me know if you are. Slow Cuba. Maybe Apple will buy Framework and offer... oh, dear God, no. Offer DIY RTR M4 MacBook laptops. Or maybe they announce a restart of the Titan project, just exploring a bit beyond the probables. But the WWDC keynote's usually a little fun. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the... of the frameworks. A. Hughes is saying Luke Miani has just said that Sam Altman is at DubDub. Yeah, I'd already had confirmation of that from someone else as well. Woz is also there. So yeah, it's the frameworks. I know Luke Miani has just talked about Framework on his channel as well, and he said, you know, it's a cool project. I don't hate the idea. I think it's ridiculous that they do an option where they build it for you and then test it and then dismantle it and send it to you so you can build it yourself. I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. But icon redesign, yes, cool. Thank you so much for being here, because I massively enjoy your tweets. And I'm still going to call them tweets because it's not X, it's Twitter. But yeah, the framework stuff, I'm like, I understand why PC people think it's cool, and it is nice to be able to replace parts, but that's not what it is when you're kind of building the entire laptop and then dismantling it to send it just so that someone else can put it together themselves at the other end, when you could probably put it in the box on as it was and just send it and get on with it. I'm not here for kits. I used to do model kits. I used to do Warhammer and stuff when I was a kid. I've grown out of that now. I just want to get on with my job, if that's all right, rather than having to build everything myself. Anyway, Evan Rogers, will Apple introduce AI body form analysis during exercises in Fitness Plus? I would love this. This is something that I really want to see on Apple TV on the next version of the hardware, which, again, we're probably not going to get anytime soon. But maybe towards the end of the year, maybe sort of spring next year. It feels like that's the kind of thing that we might do. But yeah, put stuff on there like, I don't know, a FaceTime style camera, like with LiDAR, so that it can see you. That would be really good. And then it would actually be able to kind of give feedback using AI, perhaps. As if AI is a bit of a theme for the event. But yeah. Yeah, that's what I would like. Apparently, the Apple events page is currently returning a 404, which means that the stream is probably on the way, which is good. I'm sitting here looking at, we're 10 minutes exactly out from WWDC starting on YouTube, which is where I will be watching it, almost certainly. Apple intro is now up and running. It's not started on YouTube. Oh, sad times. Maybe I need to go to the Apple page. I'll go and do that. But yeah. I dropped Twitter the other day and it became X. Yes, so if you type twitter.com now into the internet, it will change it to x.com. They're just called posts, apparently, but I think they should be called kisses because they're little X's. Evan Rogers, thank you again for another super chat, my friend. Thank you so much. Best or worst things that could happen at WWDC are, worst thing, Apple merges iOS and macOS or releases a touchscreen Mac. Don't think we need it. Best things that could happen, we get a really easy framework where we can just install Windows games on the Mac and they run as native without having to do any work. That'd be grand. Yeah, because then everyone can shut up about gaming on a Mac. That'd be really good. Can they just give me an AI body so I don't have to work out? Yeah, sure. Let's just do that. I mean, I think you can. It's just personas in Vision Pro. What Apple needs to release is a soundbar Apple TV that can pair with multiple HomePods and a FaceTime camera and LiDAR. Yeah, I mean, it would be great to have, like, Apple home theater surround sound, even if it's just made up of HomePods and HomePod minis and stuff like that. That would be tremendous. But it just doesn't seem like they wanna. And maybe they need better radios in the HomePods, and maybe they need, they've got really good microphone arrays, so they could sync themselves. That kind of stuff should be dead easy. But yeah, I use exclusively X terminology now. Very strange. It will always be Twitter. Yes. Respect the name change. No, I don't. Sorry. Elon messed it up. Respecting anything Elon does is cringe, apart from Starship, because that was a hell of a show. Watching that thing melt in real time on YouTube live streams, that was great. I was on Twitter before Elon, but I'll be back after Elon. Fair enough. Keynote, exactly. No matter how many X's you put there, it's Twitter. It's true. Right, let's see. Is the Apple thing going live yet on the YouTubes? No, but we are 7 minutes and 20 seconds away. I'm going to go to the Apple events page because, I mean, surely. Apple.com/events. Eventies, in fact, what I put. So that's probably why it's coming up with a 404 on that. 404, incidentally, the name of my barbershop quartet. Keynote. Press play. Oh, yes. Oh, it's loud. Oh, my goodness. Oh, turn that down. Right. So I think we are going to wrap this stream up in about 5 minutes' time. So we'll be about 2 minutes before the event itself actually starts. But it's all good. It's all good. Thank you all for being here. Make sure you've set a reminder for the post show, which I will just quickly repin so that you guys can find the link on your way out. And you can grab that. Where did I put it? Definitely put it here somewhere. Is it still on my clipboard? It might be. Let's see. It bloomin' is. Look at that. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here for the live chat. We will be back, as I say, afterwards again. So there's the link if you want to come and hang out with us after the show. Obviously, we'll have a lot more to talk about. We're gonna definitely have plenty of stuff to talk about. Do leave a comment as well under here. I know we've been doing the live chat, which is all good. But the comment section is the bit where stuff lives on forever. This is just for now. And we will indeed see you on the other side. I'm going to end this one now. And yes, enjoy the live stream. I'm going to go and get some water and maybe snacks. Have a good time.